Good morning, everybody. It's Hayley here from the Gale Library in Newton, here with your preschool story time. Now, it is a very special day today, and you will see that I am not outside today. Even though it's quite a nice day, I decided to do story time from inside the library today. So because my mask is not on, I am in here all alone, and the doors are all shut, so I am keeping very safe, and so are the rest of the team. But it's a very special week today. Do you guys know that this is the week that we celebrate our libraries? It's National Library Week this week, and the theme is Welcome to Your Library. So here I am inside the library, and as you can see behind me, we have a new notice board that looks very springy and very fun, and this is the perfect week for you guys to come back into the library. You can call us and make an appointment and come and see what we've got going on. We miss you and we hope to see you in the library soon. So our celebration today is all about libraries. So the books that we have chosen today are all about, guess what? Libraries. You're right. Okay, so let's think about our day. We do our story time on the same day, this same time every week. So let's do our quick days of the week song. How many days of the week do we have? 7. There are 7 days. There are 7 days to the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And today, our story day is Tuesday. So we will put that up on our date calendar. And the month, we are another month along. It's no longer March. We had Easter already. And Easter usually falls in the month of April. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We are in the 4th month of the year, which is April. The date, again, I have to look at my watch. It's April 6th today. April 6th. So I will pop that on the board. 2021 still, and it's still spring. What's the weather like outside? We've had sun for the last couple of weeks, but today it is cloudy, but it's still not cold. What is my mood today? Usually I'm happy. Today I am feeling a little bit silly because it's library week and I want to celebrate. Yay! I could put 2 moods, silly and happy, because I feel both. All right, so let's do some stories, shall we? So we'll start with this one, and this is called Froggy Goes to the Library. Have you ever seen a frog in our library? Oh, don't see any today. Let's have a look. Froggy Goes to the Library. And this is by Jonathan London. It was Saturday morning, and Froggy stayed in bed to read his favorite book. It was about a super frog. Froggy! Called his mum. What? It's time to get up, dear. We're going to the library. Yippee! Cried Froggy, and he hopped out of the bed and he flopped into the kitchen. Flop, flop, flop. Let's go, said Froggy, and he started flopping out of the door. Flop, flop, flop. First, said Mum, you have to get dressed. I know that, said Froggy. Look, he was trying to go out in his PJs. I've done that sometimes. He flopped back up to his room and he got dressed. Zip, zoom, zip, zap, zap, zip. And then he flopped back, flop, 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 and said, let's go. I want to get books. Books about a super frog and a T-Rex. But first, eat your breakfast, dear. Yum, said Froggy. Home flies and ketchup. Munch, crunch, munch. Ugh, flies, yuck. But flies are Froggy's favourite food. Then Froggy raced out of the door. Froggy! Called Mum. What? Said Froggy. Don't forget your book bag, dear, so you can carry lots of books home. I'd better take my wheelbarrow, cried Froggy. I'm getting tons of books. And off to the library they went. Squeak, I think that's the sound of the wheelbarrow squeaking. In no time at all, Froggy had a stack of books so high that he couldn't even see over the top. So he tripped over Polly, whoops, and fell, boom, smack on his face, splat. And he spilled all of his books. Uh-oh. That's when he saw Froggalina. Hi, Froggy, hee hee hee. Want some help picking up your books? I can do it myself, shouted Froggy. Please use your indoor voice, dear, said the librarian, Mrs. Otterbottom. First, Froggy read a book about a super frog. He wasn't very good at reading, but he was very good at looking at the pictures. Zwit, zwit. When he got to the part about Super Frog flying high and fast over the bad guys, he stood on the table and spread his arms like wings. Please sit down, dear, said Mrs. Otterbottom. It's not polite to stand on the table. Oops, said Froggy. Plus, he might fall off, right? Then he picked out lots of books about dinosaurs, especially his favourite, the T-Rex. Roar! Cried Froggy, holding up his hands like claws. Froggy! Called Mrs. Otterbottom. What? This is a library, dear, not a dinosaur park. Oops, said Froggy. Sorry. Then Miss Otterbottom announced, Story time! Gather round, children. Me, cried Pollywoggalina. Story time is for babies, said Froggy. But little by little, the book that Miss Otterbottom was reading got a lot of his attention. What a great story, thought Froggy, and he wanted to know what happened next. So he scooted closer and closer and closer. And when he started doing rhymes and songs, he got so excited that he leapfrogged over Froggalina, and he leapfrogged over his mother, and he leapfrogged over Polly, right smack beside Miss Otterbottom, and started singing, wiggle, wiggle, waggle, waggle, giggle, giggle, gaggle, gaggle. And all the kids laughed like crazy, and Froggy kept on singing. Until suddenly it grew quiet. So quiet that you could hear a fly burp. Froggy took one look at Miss Otterbottom and, uh-oh, he knew he was in trouble. Look at her face. Eek. Oops, cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Miss Otterbottom stared hard at him. Then she smiled and she joined in, and so did everybody else. Wiggle, waggle, giggle, gaggle, gaggle, giggle, wiggle, tiggle, until story time was over. Thanks for being so, energetic, Froggy, said Miss Otterbottom, and she handed him the book she had been reading aloud and said, I'm glad to know that Froggy loves books. Come again soon. Thanks, cried Froggy. Books are the best. And he put it on top of his pile to check out. Look how many he has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of books he's going to read. Then he rolled his wheelbarrow full of books with Polly on top, singing, wiggle, wiggle, waggle, waggle, giggle, giggle, gaggle, gaggle, all the way home. Squeak, 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 went the wheelbarrow. That was a fun one. I love Froggy Goes to the Library. You can check this book out here too. All right, so, here's a song that goes with that book nice. It's called I Went to the Library. I made it up. I can't find very many songs about going to the library. So do you know this song, Mary Had a Little Lamb? Okay, so I'm going to do to the tune of that. It goes like this. I went to the library to choose a book, choose a book, choose a book. I went to the library to choose a book, and guess just what I found? I found my favorite book to read, book to read, book to read. I found my favorite book to read, and I didn't make a sound. I sat and read it all day long, all day long, all day long. I sat and read it all day long, and I made some new friends too. We laughed and played and had some fun, had some fun, had some fun. We laughed and played and had some fun, and then my day was done. See, coming to the library is a good place to read books and to do crafts and to meet friends and to learn and to grow. There's so many things you can do at the library, and that is why we celebrate National Libraries Week, because it's such an awesome place to be. Okay, so I have another book for you, and it is called A Library Book for Bear. Do you think I've gone with an animal theme this week? I think so. This book is written by Bonnie Becker, illustrated by Katie MacDonald Denton. And I read this one yesterday. It's a fun story. Having page issues. Here we go. Bear had never been to the library. He had 7 very nice books at home. 3 about kings and queens, 3 about honeybees, and 1 about pickles. Bear was quite sure he had all of the books he would ever need. 7 books? I have way more than 7. One morning, Bear heard a tap, tap, tapping on his door. When he opened the door, there was a mouse, small and grey and bright-eyed. "We are off!" exclaimed the mouse with a happy wag of his whiskers. Bear frowned. He had agreed to go with Mouse to the library, but now he was quite sure it was a dreadful mistake. "It's completely unnecessary," Bear announced. "I have all the books I need right here." "Oh, there are many delightful books in the library," Mouse assured him. Bear grumbled. He had promised. I hope the light's not shining on these pictures for you. So he buckled up his red roller skates and stepped outside, grabbing a basket for the books. Bear skated, and Mouse rode in the basket to the library, the wind rippling nicely through their fur. But when they got to the library, Bear didn't like how big it looked. "There are far too many books in here," he protested. "Most excessive." "Oh no, it's quite exciting," Mouse said, leading Bear through the tall doors. In the library were more books than Bear had ever thought there could be. He quickly found a tucked away corner, but even here there were lots and lots of books. Terribly extravagant. Bear's voice was a little loud. "I shall find you the perfect one," Mouse said quietly in his library voice. "One about pickles," commanded Bear. After all, he only had 1 of those. But Mouse had whisked away. Mouse came back with a thick green book. Bear opened it. "Rocket ships? Ridiculous!" Bear's voice was getting louder. "A good book about pickles is all I require." "Remember, quiet in the library," murmured Mouse as he scurried off. Soon he returned with a tall yellow book. "I am not interested in wooden canoes!" Bear's voice was even louder. "Shh! Quiet voices in the library," Mouse reminded him. "My voice is always quiet!" shouted Bear. "I will find my own book. I can assure you that pickles are quite interesting." Mouse didn't look so sure, but Bear quickly spotted a blue book with a pickle on the spine, and Mouse sprang up to the shelf to get it for him. Inside were pictures of pickles. The pickles had little fairy wings. They were dancing with the petunias. "No dancing pickles!" roared Bear. "Shh!" said a voice. Bear peeked around a bookshelf. There sat a librarian with a cluster of youngsters gathered around her. The librarian smiled, but a mother squirrel squished an angry finger against her lips, and an old raccoon said sternly, "Shh! Quiet in the library." Bear turned back with a huffy sniff. I know when I'm not wanted, he told Mouse. I want to go home. Surely at least one book, Mouse began, but Bear cut him off. I have all the books I need. He looked quite certain. Then we're off, said Mouse, but his whiskers didn't wag this time. It was sad to leave the library, I think. Bear stood stock still. He was listening carefully to the voice on the other side of the bookcase. So the very brave Bear began to inch his way towards the treasure chest, the voice was saying. I'm ready, Mouse began. Shh, exclaimed Bear. It's just getting to the good part. But you said... Quiet voices in the library, bellowed Bear. I don't think Bear knows how to be quiet, do you? This time, the librarian got up and looked around the bookshelf at Bear. Bear was stood very still and quiet, as if he'd been sitting still and quiet all along. Would you like to join story time? The librarian asked. Bear glanced at Mouse. We'd love to have you, said the librarian. Bear and Mouse scooted around the shelf and found 2 empty chairs. The librarian began to read again. Bear lifted the lid to the treasure chest, and inside... The librarian paused. Mouse and Bear strained forward. Inside, she said, was a mound of pickle slices, and each shining slice was made of diamonds and gold, and everyone shouted, hooray for the brave Bear. And then she said, the end. Bear stared dreamily into space for a moment. Then he looked over at Mouse and announced, as I said, pickles are most interesting. Indeed, said the Mouse. Later, Mouse rode in the basket with 7 new books. There were 2 about wooden canoes, 2 about rocket ships, 2 about teapots, and can you guess what the last one was? And 1 called The Very Brave Bear and the Treasure of Pickle Island, which Bear read to Mouse that very same day. I like that story. That was a fun one, huh? All right, I have another song. Do you guys have instruments at home? I think you know this song because we've sang it a couple of times. So we've changed the words a little. It's called If You Love Your Library. And it goes like this. Get your clapping hands ready. If you love your library, hang on. If you love the library and you know it, clap your hands. If you love the library and you know it, clap your hands. If you love the library and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you love the library and you know it, clap your hands. If you love the library and you know it, ring your bells. If you love the library and you know it, ring your bells. If you love the library and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you love the library and you know it, ring your bells. If you love the library and you know it, bang your sticks. If you love the library and you know it, bang your sticks. If you love the library and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you love the library and you know it, bang your sticks. We're not being quiet like Bear. If you love the library and you know it, bang your drum. If you love the library and you know it, bang your drum. If you love the library and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you love the library and you know it, bang your drum. You love the library and you know it, do all 4. Clap, clap, ring, ring, tap, tap, and bang, bang. Good job, you guys. I just have about enough time for one last quick story before we go. This one is called Library Lily. And another favorite, the library books. Okay. This one, Library Lily, was written by Gillian Shields. When Lily learned to read, her mum was very pleased. She took Lily to the library and got her a library card. Lily was so excited. There were fat books and thin books, great enormous square books, old books, new books, and furry, touchy-feely books. Going to the library was like going on an adventure. The trouble was, once Lily started to read, she couldn't stop. She read at night under the blankets, and the great sea monster rose up from the waves. Lily, said Mum, aren't you asleep yet? She read in the morning when she was brushing her teeth. And the red lizard Amazon snake laid its eggs. Lily, I need the bathroom. And when her dinner was ready, she just forgot to eat. Until that moment, I, Herbert Wobble Bobble Smythe, had never seen a ghost. Lily, please eat up. And when her mum spoke to her, she just didn't hear. Long, long ago, far, far away, there was once a perfect... Oh, Lily, laughed her mum. She's so engrossed in her books, she didn't hear her mummy. Lily read and read and read and read. There goes Library Lily, people began to say. Always has her head in a book. That means she always is like this, reading a book. Lily read all through the sizzling summer, an awesome autumn, and a wonderful winter. And when spring came around again, she didn't notice. She was in a beautiful dream. She was reading. One Sunday morning, Lily's mum took her to the park. Why don't you go and play? Mum asked. But I want to finish my story, said Lily. It's such an exciting adventure. Maybe you'll have an adventure in the park, smiled Mum. So Lily wandered over to the playground. Welcome to the park. Circus coming soon. No dogs on the swings. Lily read the signs. That didn't take long. She was just wondering what else she could find to read when someone called out. Hey, what are you doing? Reading, of course, said Lily. Reading's boring, said the upside-down voice. In fact, I hate reading. Hate reading? Gasped Lily. What do you like? Lots of things, the upside-down person said. Playing, climbing, exploring. I'm Millie, said Millie. I'm Lily, said Lily. Millie grinned. Would you like to climb my tree? Lily scrambled up the tree to join Millie. From the top, they could see the green park, the busy streets, the library, and the town, all spread out below like a picture. Wow, breathed Lily. There's a whole world out there, said Millie. There's a whole world in here too, exclaimed Lily, pulling a book from her bag. You'll see. And so all summer long, Millie took Lily exploring. It was fun. And Lily took Millie on adventures too. Millie decided that books weren't boring after all. They were great. And what was extra special was doing everything together. There goes Library Lily, people began to say, with her best friend, Millie. Ooh, these pages, they get stuck. What shall we do when we grow up? Said Lily to her best friend one day. We'll be explorers, said Millie. There's a whole world out there. So that's exactly what they did. And when they came home again, Lily wrote down all of their adventures in the most marvelous, magical, amazing, perfect book. You might just find it in your library. The end. That is all we have time for, you guys. But happy National Library Week. I will be back next Tuesday at 10 a.m. with your story time. Don't forget to check out the craft video after. I will post it on the bottom of this link. It's also on our YouTube page. Gale Library does have a YouTube page, so I will post that too so that you guys can see the crafts. We are making book birds and bookmarks, so grab your craft kit today, which has everything you need to make those things. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday and happy National Library Week. Have a good week.